All right, so in the last video, we looked at a diagram that represented what actually happens under the hood when we use some of these asynchronous APIs or asynchronous capabilities that are available in the browser as well as Node.js. So in this video, we're going to look at the specific set timeout and clear timeout functions. So let's go ahead and just in the global scope here, we'll say set timeout. And we've already used this a few times, and you know that it takes in a function. It can be an arrow function, or you can just do a standard function like this. And the second argument is going to be the time in milliseconds that you want to wait to execute this function. So in this function, I'm just going to do a simple console log, and we'll say hello from callback. All right, and then I'm going to go outside of the set timeout and do a console log, and we'll say hello from global scope. Now if I save this, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen. We see hello from global scope right away, and then hello from callback 2 seconds later, because that's what we specified. Now you might think if we change that 2000 to 0, that hello from callback will run first because we're not waiting any time at 0 seconds. However, if I save, you'll see that this still runs first. And the reason for that is because this callback gets put onto the task queue and waits for the call stack to clear before it's run. So it's still running second. Now we can also use a named function if we want in set timeout. So if I create a function here, let's say change text, and we'll just grab the h1, let's say document dot get element, or let's use query selector, and we'll grab the h1 and we'll set the text content and set it to hello from callback. All right, and then I can replace this anonymous function here with a named function. So we'll say change text, and then I'll just set this back to 2000. So now if I save after 2 seconds, then that's gonna say hello from callback. Now we can also clear a timeout as well, and in order to do that, we need to have the timer ID that set timeout returns. Okay, this actually returns a timer. So let me just comment this out, and we're going to say const. Let's say, actually, you know what? I want to keep the change text because I'm going to use that function, but I'm going to set a variable here of timer ID, and then I'm going to call set timeout. Okay, and here we're going to say change text, and let's do 3 seconds. All right, so if I save this after 3 seconds, it's going to run, it's going to say hello from callback. Even though we assign this to a variable, we're executing it, right? We have the parentheses around it. So if I wanted to cancel this, then we could use clear timeout, and what I'm going to do is put that into an event on that button. So let's say query selector, and that has an ID of cancel the button, and then we'll add an event listener, and we'll listen for a click, and then when that happens, let's run a function, and we're going to run clear timeout, and we have to pass in that timer ID. All right, I'll actually console log the ID as well so you can see that. Let's do timer ID. Okay, and then let's just do another console log and say, we'll say timer canceled. All right, and when I cancel it, it'll no longer be able to run, right? So I'll save. Let's just not click cancel, and it changes. If I reload and then I click that, you'll see it doesn't change because I canceled the timeout, and we had an ID of 2. That's what we're logging right here. So it gave us an ID of 2, and then it just logs timer canceled. So if you need to cancel it for any reason, you can use that function. So in the next video, we're going to look at a function called set interval.